what's coming up ahead.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Just to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Mommy and Me. Who is Mommy and Me, you ask? Mommy and Me is a beautiful, no longer in existence company that does diaper bags and towels, and it was owned by Marsha Lindquist and Mimi McCall, who were the two first female entrepreneurs that I ever knew, that Sarah and I probably ever knew. So it happens to be our mom and our pseudo mom, Marsha.
Yes. I was going to say our mothers. Our two
So
mothers.
we love these ladies. Sarah and I both just had the opportunity to hang out with them, and they were sharing some of their stories. And what was one of the stories that you heard from Marsha and mom, sis?
Actually, I interrupted your conversation with them. So I was told not to ask too many questions because we want to have them on the podcast.
We do want to have them on the podcast.
To have them share their story with us.
Yeah, one of my favorite stories, and this will be a preview for the interview, is when there was somebody who they hired to sell for them and who stole from them.
Ooh. Like at the Chicago market or something.
Something like that, and she stole a bunch of stuff, and they caught her, and she's like, "Oh no, I didn't. I just happen to have these things that look exactly like yours."
Oh boy.
And then the other one is the one we know. They did their office in a spooky basement, and Laid Back Jack showed up. He's like today's Freddy Krueger. No, I guess no. He wasn't a murderer. He was just sort of a.
No, I think he was a drug addict, and I think he had done so many drugs that he literally walked with his back backwards. If you called him Laid Back Jack, I think it would be the equivalent of somebody maybe who does meth now and they fall forward. He fell backwards.
Oh,
right?
poor Laid Back Jack. And he like came downstairs and scared him, and I don't think he ever did anything. I think he just scared him.
He was harmless. He was probably
poor
just
guy.
homeless and looking for food and drugs, but he's
food and money. Food and money mostly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so Mommy and Me was definitely an inspirational business to me growing up. And I remember we got the opportunity to work there. And it was so fun to watch our mom do this cool thing for a couple of years. I can't remember how long it lasted, but I know I found one of their business cards recently. And I was really proud. I'm really proud of them. That was really cool.
And it was in the time when they were in the thick of being moms. I mean,
totally.
In the 80s, having 2 and 4 kids, 6 kids between the two of them. And then they had some other partners at some point. But they had a full-time business. They had launched this nationally renowned business. I mean, it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So thank you. Thanks, Mommy and Me, for being our sponsors.
We appreciate
and our inspiration. Yes, we appreciate you. All right. Today, our show is called That Post-Show Glow. You know I like a good rhyme. And what we're going to be talking about is the most recent shows, craft shows that you did, my sister Sarah, as a founder of Sarah Jane Pottery. And having done conferences and trade shows and all of these live events, I know how exhausting they are, as well as how exhilarating they are. And so I wanted to share or have a conversation about some of the biggest challenges and wins and lessons that you had from this, because I do feel there are so many people like our guest Kelsey, who goes to farmers markets, and another gal that I hope to have on the show that I also met at another farmers market, where they are all that energy that goes into it, and you're just like excited and exhausted, and you can't do it by yourself. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. I love it.
Okay, great. All right. So the first question I have is, well, tell us about these shows and tell us where you were and what you did. And then we'll take it from there.
Sure. So this show in October was my third show in total since I've started. And it was with a group called the Clover Market. They have created just a really beautiful buzz and a community of collectors and shoppers in this Chester County area and beyond, in Pennsylvania. And it just has a great reputation. So I remember the very first time I went to this show, or went to the show as a patron, I wanted to be a part of it. I just knew that at some point, if I had a business and a ceramics business, I wanted to be a part of the show. So just to be there is already exciting enough.
Yeah.
I lost track of what you even asked me. So where was?
Yeah, you had 2 shows, and you had 2 shows back to back.
Oh,
right.
Oh,
so
yeah. So this was the Clover Market was the second Clover Market I've done. I did the same shows in Bryn Mawr in Pennsylvania in the spring, and this would be the second show I did in the fall. Mm-hmm. It was on a Sunday. It was from 10 to 4, and they have over 100 vendors and artists and makers in the area. Some are food vendors, some are painters. Just you can imagine any kind of vendor that would be at an art market.
Yeah. And it was so fun to be with you on that first one. It was not your first one, but the first one there. That was great. And then you had another one 2 weeks later?
2 weeks, or a week before.
A week before. So 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row I had.
Holy cow. Okay, so here are my questions. Yep. Knowing the energy, knowing the preparation, knowing the fact that, I talk for a living, so I can roll up anywhere. And if I've built a presentation or a workshop, I can just go. You have physical, tangible goods. Can you talk a little bit about the preparation? So thinking of, our listeners who are makers, and so they're making items, crafts, products, things. Talk to us a little bit about your preparation. What did you do? And I want some like the good, bad, and ugly. What did you do to prepare for doing 2 shows back to back?
Okay, so this one was a different scenario for me. I've only ever done 1 show, and I prepared for 1 show at a time. This one, I didn't know exactly how much product I would need, so I kind of did a little research on my sales from the only 2 shows I had as history. Did some research on what were my best sellers, how many did I sell, what was the traffic like, and I built basically a spreadsheet with the help of AI, of course, that helped me to say, if I want to sell X amount of dollars at show 1, and I need this number of pieces, then here's the build out plan. You need to be building 25 pieces every 3 days for the weeks leading up to it. So I did have a strategy going into it where previously I was just trying to make as fast as I could and have enough stock where I felt like I looked full. My booth looked plentiful and plentiful and
nope. I think it's plentiful. I think that's.
Thank you. We're gonna get the sponsor of that word came from John McCall.
Oh yes, definitely.
It was a plentiful. So I had to have more of a plan, a strategic plan to build enough pieces to feel comfortable going from 1 show to the next show. The most exciting part in leading up to these shows was bringing on a friend, coworker to help with the planning and preparation for the show. So I brought in my friend Angie, who just is a doer and a creative thinker and has just so much to offer in so many different realms. Not just rolling out clay and helping physically make the clay, but helping me think through just the questions when you're working in a studio by yourself and you're trying to plan for something big. Mm-hmm. It's nice to have somebody to banter with and throw ideas back and forth with. And she would challenge me, and just having her on board made the whole process so much smoother this time, which was just invaluable, like absolutely invaluable.
Right. So she's essentially employee numero uno, which is really exciting. Congratulations. That's a big deal to take on a person, even if it's limited and part-time hours and all those things. So congrats on that. It's a big deal. It's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. And I know that we'll, I'm sure, have more conversations about team and management and delegation and all that stuff. And so I want to sort of touch on that one, because one of the biggest lessons that you and I have talked about since the show, or even since the other shows, is how important community is. And I wrote on here, like, it takes a village to raise a business. And so you have Angie. Who else was in your community? And thinking even of other vendors and even some of the patrons, like, how did community impact these two shows? How was that a part of that?
Absolutely. I think when I started this, because my studio's in the little nook of my backyard, I thought I would have more buy-in from my family, support from my kids and my husband. I definitely have a ton of support from Doug. And my youngest has been just such a blessing and a help for, oh, she's over there and she just did this.
Good job, Gabby.
So having her, I always pre-set up the booth in my garage before I go, so I can know where everything's going to go the day of. And she'll come and assess it and tweak it. And then when it's time to set up the show, she helps pull everything out of the boxes and put it all on the shelves and get everything zhuzhed and where it needs to be. She's my IT girl. She's my social media girl. In the moment and the day of, when I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed and I'd rather be just spending time talking and engaging with people that are coming by. She just made the lift so much easier the actual day. And then Doug he's just there's nothing he won't do. He is helpful in all areas. So as far as, my actual family as my community and my support and helping with Angie, I don't know. I think outside support, I had a couple of realizations that I didn't know to expect, or a couple of new experiences that I just didn't anticipate. One being repeat customers, because it was the second time I had done the same show in the same community. And I had people coming up who said, I've been looking for you. I threw out a card and I didn't know how to find you. Or I've been using this here and I gifted this here and they love it. And just to get, have that sense of community building, like, I didn't know I had followers. I didn't know I had people that liked my work enough to come back and buy a second time. Like that.
Can you talk about the mom who brought stuff for her daughters?
The plates. Well, she was the first time person.
Oh, I thought she came. Oh,
no. So one of the most exciting was at one of the first show of the two back to back. The first show, these two women walked in with a dog who looks much like my dog, a little golden doodle named Monty. And I kept looking at him. I thought, they look so familiar. So I said, you look familiar. Have we met? And they said, we met you at the Clover Market in the spring, and we've been following you. We're kind of like fans. We're fans. We're stalkers. We're so excited to. They had been following me, so they knew the show was coming up. They came to look for certain things, and they were just such a delight. It blew my mind that somebody was even interested in that way. And then they came the following week. So there were a couple of things that they really had their heart set on that I didn't have there, and I was able, because I had some blank pieces at home, in a week's time, just to glaze them in the way that they wanted and bring them to the next show. So when they rolled up to the second show, I had some very specific pieces that I had created for them. And that was awesome. That was absolutely a cool experience, and just not something I guess I anticipated. I don't know why I wouldn't. If somebody likes your stuff, they want to buy it again, but it didn't cross my mind. So that was
amazing.
That building that community, that social community on Instagram behind the screen.
Yeah.
One thing, like, you get some comments that are positive, but to do it face to face feels.
Oh, it's the best.
Oh, yeah.
It's the best. Having people look at your stuff and say, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Or having you build something for them.
Yeah.
That customer experience, I mean, that's humongous. And it's something that it's not like you did a true custom. You said, I have this blank slate. It's already built. I'll paint it because I know she's going to love it. You have created a fan for life. And it wasn't something that you had to, we've talked about some other custom things, and we can talk more about custom and the joys and the highs and lows of custom. Mm-hmm.
6-7 custom?
The 6-7s, exactly. And so for this one, like, you've created a fan, somebody who already loved you is now so excited to come back and see what else you have that she would love, or that you might be able to build something else for her, and you probably would build something custom for her.
Absolutely.
She's worthy of that. So great. I love the idea of the community on there. The next one is thinking of, you mentioned this, but I want to talk a little bit more about this. So you mentioned that you played with some AI to organize, to create some spreadsheets. You mentioned that you do a dry run in your garage and Gabby helped, and Doug helped, and Angie helped. Tell us a little bit more about some of the best things that you did to prepare differently for these two shows that really made it better, made it easier, more scalable.
I think there was an editing process this time because we had built so many pieces, hopefully to sustain us through two shows. We actually had to edit. We had to be mindful about, so originally we had set up everything and there was a lot in the booth, in my mock setup booth. And then we had to just go through and say, all right, we want one for this show, one for that show, pull it out. One green for this show, one red for this show, pull it out. So we had to be really selective we can't plan totally, but we were thoughtful in trying to edit our assortment so we had enough to look cool and full. If everything were to sell out in the show one, it would still be a nice look for the second one. So I think that was new and different. I hadn't done that in the past. I think another thing that was the packing and the loading. So I got a little more strategic in that and still yet learned a few more strategies that I'll take with me to the next show. But the way you load or offload is helpful to setting up the process. So you put the base layers first, and then the next, and then the next, and the next. And rather than just putting everything in one bin and trying to figure out what goes where, I had it labeled from left to right. This bin is the left table starting on the left. This is the left table in the middle, the right. Sounds silly.
Nice.
It sounds
no.
But just the more systems you can have, the more standard operating processes you can have in preparation for those, because it's stressful. It's, you have 2 hours to set up for a show, but things go wrong, the wind's blowing, the whatever. So the less you have to think, and it also makes it easier to delegate. It makes it easier for Doug to be able to step in without any pre-knowledge and just know how to do it, because this is the way the loading goes. This is the way the prep goes now. And so I think those are two big steps.
Yeah, that's a big one. And I love it. What I just wrote down is SOPs, the standard operating procedures, start early. And what you said that I love, and I'm a huge front-loading fan. If we can just see it, and then when we get there, exactly as you said, when the wind is blowing, when the parking is terrible, when everybody's hot and sweaty and not hangry, you are allowed to have fewer words, right? So you don't have to be like, that thing that, just find it. Instead, you say, left front box, middle front box, right? I mean, a genius. The labeling by location is super smart. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Well done. That's a great one.
I think that it just like at home, like touch it once. If you can just touch it one time and you don't have to go back to it and figure out if it goes here, if it goes there, what do I do with it the second time? Even the another one was the setup. Angie helped with the setup for packaging as we were doing sales. I mean, there are moments where there are 5 people in line and you're like quickly trying to package safely ceramics so they don't crack, get them in the bags, doing all of this. And she set up a booth kind of behind the booth. That was our packaging and wrapping station. And I didn't have that before. So the last show, it felt very chaotic, crazy, and like you're in people's way and stepping on people. And this was just really fluid and smooth. And again, like these are very minute. It feels very small, but it makes the overall experience so much smoother and better. So it doesn't have to be life-changing. Sometimes these like changes and ahas don't have to be something so big. They can just be a little bit of a tweak, and it makes a big difference. Yeah,
I love it. That's fantastic. So then the show happens. How did you feel during the show? Because you had done all this prep work, because you had some good organization, because you were calm, as you were unpacking and setting things up, how did you feel, and was it different than how you'd felt in previous shows?
I have to let my dog in. Hold on. I felt. What was the question?
Hold on. Cut. All right. So thinking of all the things that you had done to prepare, all the different, you had Angie to help, you set up things differently, you labeled things differently, you made it an easier, more calm, maybe, offloading, prepping, setup situation. How did you feel during the show? And was it different than you'd felt before? Did you feel more calm, more excited, more confident, sort of at home in your body? How did you feel?
It's peaceful.
Nice.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that I felt any different than the show before. I felt like it was showtime, and I'm not a showtime person. I don't particularly like to be on stage and singing, but when I do it, I do find that I enjoy it, and I think I felt really peaceful, and we were laughing a couple times throughout the building process. We're not saving lives. We're making mugs. Like,
Yep.
calm down. I'm not saving lives. I'm
Yeah.
not in the emergency room. I am making
No one's going to die
Yeah.
if you don't. No one's going to die if you break a mug.
No,
one's going to
okay.
die.
It's okay. And if nobody buys anything, okay, we'll go back to the drawing board. So I think it was a gorgeous day. It was a beautiful fall day. And I think I just enjoyed connecting with the people and just felt really like I'm really aware of making a connection regardless of a sale. So finding something to talk to the people about. Like if somebody's taking 2 seconds to step in my booth and look, I want to engage them, even if it's just a good morning or a hello or I love your shoes or whatever. Yeah, it just felt very peaceful. It felt relaxed.
Right.
It didn't feel stressful.
Great.
It didn't feel, felt like what you would want it to be like. It felt,
Yeah.
what I envisioned
Great.
it to be like.
Financially, how did you do?
Not as well as I had done in the spring.
Okay.
So it was a Sunday, and we live in the land of the Philadelphia Eagles. The show was from 10 to 4, and the Eagles were playing at 1. So
Oh, boy.
I am not kidding. If you look at the sales, there was 1 hour where I didn't have a single sale, and it was during the football game. And that was like disheartening. And at first I thought, well, maybe all the men will go home, but maybe some of the women will come out and shop with their friends or their children or whatever. There was definitely a dip in the sales just based on the
Amazing.
time of day in the football.
Yeah, amazing.
That was one note. And I think the second note is it was fall. Fall feels
Yeah.
like a strange time. You're not ready for holidays, so you're not buying gifts for teachers and friends
Yep.
and neighbors and family. Not really even buying for yourself. I mean, I'm frankly not in stores looking for a whole lot, maybe a new pair of jeans and a sweater, but I'm not shopping for
Right.
gifts like that. So I question whether the fall markets are, maybe do I bypass them in the future? Is it something where, I don't know. I'm not totally solidified on whether I continue that or not.
Yeah, it's a fun game to play, to analyze the sales and the season in terms of how you want to, how you decide on the markets that you go to next. It's so fun to, you and I had that conversation the day after, and really looking at what do people do behaviorally, what do sales look like? If we were to ask anyone, and we can find all this data, and this is where the analysis and analyzing your sales and the seasons is so helpful. And it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it is something that when you're planning 2026, you can say, all right, I'm going to intentionally hit the holidays or spring. And those are my two huge seasons. And then I'm going to hit online sales all summer and all fall.
Yep.
Because this is what we do. Like, people go online. They're at the beach. They're on their phone. They're waiting for the kids in the car lines. They're shopping on their phones.
Yep.
But where people go out because they want to touch and feel are those two major sales things. Like, that's a fun. I'm glad you left with that realization. And I mean, who knew the power of Eagles? Do you call it Eagles Nation? What do you call it?
Maybe.
Eagleville, Eagletown,
I think, well,
Eagleburg,
I don't actually know. I don't know.
Eagles Dominion, the Eagles Nest. I don't know. I wasn't watching the game.
Here, but
Yeah, we don't know.
I did say to a friend, I definitely need to tap into the Eagles and Phillies market.
Oh yeah, talk about that. Yeah. So in
really
response to that,
Yeah.
go ahead, say
So
what
in
you thought about.
response to that, friends who had come to the show and people shopping the show, they were walking away with Phillies gear and Eagles gear and I mean like posters, these really artful, cool posters for their kids, or T-shirts with a really fun graphic that some graphic designer had done. There were a lot of really fun pieces, and I thought, well, it's not really where the place I want to be.
Yep.
But can I come up with a very fun Sarah Jane version of
Yes.
something in a Kelly green, or in a Phillies red, white, and blue? Probably. And it definitely would be worth it, because this is just like if you're in Columbus, Ohio, you're walking away with something Ohio State. Here,
Yep.
same thing.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I should tap into that market in some thoughtful, clever, creative way.
Yeah, I mean, it would be fun. I could see. I know you're working on some holiday things. I can see some really cute ornaments.
Yes.
That you can make. That would be easy. As I know these are not easy to make, but like thinking of your trinket dishes and how maybe there's just 3 sports things that sports versions. Yeah, that's great. All right, cool. My last question, because we have a few more minutes. My last question was about the follow-up. So we left, we talked. What would you like to do as a part of your post-show process? So I know and I watch this happen with my clients all the time. They'll do something huge. The event is like it's like a wedding, right? Like it's all you think about for months or weeks before, and you prep for it and you spend all this energy and time. The show's over and then you're done. And you forget that you told these 4 people you'd call them, or you don't track anybody that you met, and you don't reach out and say thank you to whatever, and
Yes.
all these missed opportunities. So what are some things that you did or will definitely add as a part of your follow-up process for the next show, which you have some coming up, so the next shows?
Do. I think establish a process. I think just laying it out very clearly that these are the follow-ups. Within 10 days of the show, reach out, because I have, through Shopify and through the point of sale system, I have access to people's information from that purchase. So send them a note, send them a follow-up note saying, thanks so much for coming. I look forward to seeing you at the Clover Market at the holiday show. So first step would be just establishing what that list is.
Yep.
I had a bunch of ideas. I really haven't done them. I think a little like after you said wedding, it wasn't a letdown. I was just tired. I had for 2 weeks leading up, 3 weeks leading up, my hands were tired. My muscles in my hands were even tired.
Yeah.
Sounds silly, but they were. And I took probably 4 days, and I really did not even go into my studio. So I let it. I rested, but I do think there should have been a little more work just on what those next steps are. So I'd say the follow-up and thanking people. Just, I loved meeting you, even if they didn't buy. A lot of people and conversations, I took their information. Like, I'll reach out to you if I do host an event, or if I do have a lesson, a private studio lesson. So just reaching out to them would be key. And then I think the analysis, be very clear in what my bestsellers were, how many I sold, what colors were really, and carry that over into my planning for the design and build of the next show.
Nice.
That's 2. I think the third one, I just had a thought that I wanted. I lost it.
It's okay. Yeah.
Financially.
There you go.
Of the money I brought in, obviously I track my expenses and all of that, but there was profit. I actually had some profit this time. So being really mindful about my profit and not just spending it on groceries, but knowing that this is going into this bucket, this is going into this bucket, and this is going into this bucket. So I actually earn a salary.
Good job.
Yeah, I would say those would be my 3 big hits.
That's great. I love it. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this. I was of the whole thing. What are you the most proud of? Our final thought on this one.
Just that I did it. I guess it just feels like a little dreamlike. Like, I love to create, and now I get to share it with people, and people are enjoying that. Like, people are bringing. I had somebody say that it's the best part of her day. I had a young girl come by and say she and her roommate had bought a Saravino tumbler at the last show, and they use those Saravino tumblers for every drink in their house from morning to night. And she said, it makes it so easy. They're our favorite glasses, and we don't have to do dishes. And I was like,
amazing. That's amazing.
So just the joy that I envision it bringing to people, to see that it actually is. This just a big high five.
That's amazing. It's so fun. Congratulations. I love hearing about it. I was sorry I wasn't at either of these two shows. I know. That's a fail on my part. But thank you so much for sharing. And can you remind our listeners of where they can purchase their own Sarah Jane pottery? Yes. How do they find you?
I am on the gram at Sarah Jane Pottery. I try to post some flops, some happy moments, some silly things, and pieces that are coming available online or in the markets, as well as I have a website that is a little bare right now, but she'll be fuller soon at www.sarahjanepottery.shop.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to share my takeaways. So thank you for sharing this. There were so many great insights in here. And so for me, what I was able to take away from this conversation is the first one was about community, and you were very clear on giving people a job. And I love the way you talk about Doug and Gabby and Angie and your team. They all had different jobs. Doug is the muscle and the organization, and truly such a good cheerleader. He's really proud of you, but he's also really excited for you. Gabby is your organization superstar. This kid came out of the womb organizing. Like literally this kid. She's a future home edit superstar. Show, the home edit, that Gabby's going to have her own show. Yep. And then with Angie, what I love the magic of what Angie got to do for you is she had, I wrote down new eyes equals new ideas. So she had new eyes. She hadn't watched you design this before. She hadn't been here. So she had new ideas based on what she saw in that time. Yep. Stuff that she is hovering above it. So she can say, ooh, let's do this. I see a hole here. I love that. And so for you, also for all of us, being open to letting the team have good ideas to help you. It's so huge, because so many times we're like, that's not how we do it. And it's amazing. I hear people say that after one or two times doing anything. They're like, well, that's not how we do it. We're like, what? You've done it twice. What are you talking about? And you're missing this opportunity to grow and learn and whatever. Other one is the customer experience. You said a line in there. You're at... because you're so at peace, your goal with people was to have an intentional connection, is to really intentionally be with people and just meet people. Like you and I both, we like people. And so finding a story, finding a reason to talk, and just, if anything, leave them, feeling good. They don't have to buy it. I don't need you to buy it. It's okay. But thanks for stopping. And if you just want to look at my pretty stuff, I like looking at it too. So great. And then the third one is obviously the organization, the SOPs, the being very thoughtful and intentional. Like if you were to think back a year ago and it felt like you were flying by the seat of your pants, and how you've learned so much at every show, and how you're taking all the things you know and all the other tools that you have, whether they're people, AI, experience, website, talking to people at all your pottery stores, your glaze stores. It's amazing. So good job getting some systems and process and keeping things open to keep growing. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And I have one takeaway, or one exercise for you all to do, all my listeners. And it is a very simple follow-up plan. And if you are doing an event, if you're going to a conference, I encourage you to build a timeline. And in the timeline, it would say preparation, day of, week of, whatever it is, and then follow up. And if you build these 3 different time periods into your systems, and you divide them into things like, but into categories of marketing, sales, organization, lessons, and wins. Being intentional about those 5 areas before the event, during the event, and after the event, what you will learn will help you push forward so amazingly well that you'll just keep winning. You're just going to keep winning, which is all we want. Yep.
Yep.
So
Write it down.
write it down, everybody. So I'll make a little document and y'all can download it in the show notes later. So again, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on the CEO Sisters Road Trip. And if you love this episode, please take a moment to subscribe and rate and review us on wherever you listen to this podcatcher. And we'll be back in a week or so with another new episode. And thank you for being on this journey. And don't forget, your business matters, and it really matters to us. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, all. Thanks, sis.
What's coming up ahead?